All right. Let's go look for some snakes. How y'all doing today? See, that sun is still kind of high up there, so I'm gonna put on my glasses for a little bit here. My sunglasses, that is. Saw unfortunately, an unalived cottonmouth on the road a couple minutes ago. But it didn't rain this far north. It rained a lot down south and, central and southern Florida, so I don't know how hot it got up here today. It says 85 right now, so we'll see if that temperature, it's a little cooler than it has been up here, but we'll see. We'll see. It's nice and humid, though. Very humid. We'll see if that warm, humid air drives stuff on the road. That's the hope. Of course, this sun is absolutely obnoxious right now. Right in my line of sight. See if we can get anything good on the road early. That would be nice. The later it gets into the year, deeper into the summer, the longer the sun's going to be up. So, soon it won't be getting dark until 9:30. Completely dark until almost 10. It's getting up. It's getting later and later. Later it gets, usually the movement of the snakes tend to change a little bit, so we'll see. First pass. Nothing yet. Is that something up there? Or am I just seeing something? I can't tell if that's something or not. Might just be a mirage. Probably. Yeah, it's a mirage. there's a owl right there. An owl right there on that tree. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's a big old barred owl. It sounds like there's birds behind him pestering him. I can hear them squawking. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, there's birds mobbing him right now. Look at that. That's that same owl. See, basically every single time. And those that mockingbird is not, I think that's a mockingbird. He is not happy with him being right there. Actually, I don't know what that is. Far right now. I wonder what he's thinking. I think he's more worried about the bird that's messing with him right now. That he doesn't really, well, actually, he doesn't really seem to care about that. Like, bro, can I help you? Ooh, are you about to fly or did you just poop? Oh, he's puffing up. Like, man, stop smacking me. This is annoying. It's a pretty bird, though. Ooh, 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 ooh. Nothing? That's really cool. I love seeing owls. Alright, bro. Maybe I'll see you on another pass or two with some prey in your mouth. Alright. These cicadas have been going wild over the past couple of weeks. How y'all doing today? Let's see, is this? I got a deer fly in the car, right in the corner. Deer fly and a runny nose. It's a great combo. Yeah, that's the hope. How you doing, Ocho? And dark spots in the road. Get my heart racing for a moment. Like, ooh, that could be a really big snake, and that's just nothing. Just nothing. Nothing but a tease. Oh yeah? What'd you find? Say, it's been, I've been busy. I had my son and some other family in town and getting ready for the baby and all that fun stuff. It rained where I lived, but it didn't rain up here. But it's supposed to rain up here during, sometime this week. Ooh, got a bunch of ibises flying overhead. Bunch of ibises. I've been seeing glossy ibises pretty recently towards where I live. It's funny because the only place I ever see glossy ibis are on medians on like major highways. One night, 10 snakes, 3 copperheads, 5 adult rats, and a cottonmouth and a racer. Nice. A racer at night? I have still never seen a wild copperhead. I mean, we just don't get them down here, so I haven't had many opportunities to go cruising for them. Okay, so not completely dark. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I don't think I've ever cruised a racer during the day, or at night, I should say. They're not really that active at night. I've seen them, I've stumbled across them in trees at night, like actually foraging, but not on roads at night. And it was only once. It was down in the Everglades. The Everglades has some weird activity, though. The copperheads were last year's yellowtail babies. Nice. Yeah. Everglades, though, what I've noticed with the Everglades is it has, if you're wanting weird, like animals to not act the way they normally do, go to the Everglades. So what ends up happening there is a lot of the animals, especially like especially snakes, you'll see them active a lot more at night than you would otherwise. Let me share this real quick. For some reason, it doesn't like to share automatically. All right, there we go. Yeah, sometimes it takes a second for stuff to actually start sharing. All right, get a few passes on this road. I'm sure I'll run into something. It says it's 84 on my car. It didn't hit 90 while I was out, but again, the sun, it was overcast today for sure, but it didn't rain it didn't rain up here, so roads are not cooled off. I mean, again, we should get a few inches of rain over the next week. At first they were saying some parts of Florida were going to get up to 20 inches of rain. And then that died down drastically, but we still should get like 5-6 inches of rain this week, which we absolutely need. The meteorologist I follow tends to be pretty accurate and not like hyperbolic on things. And he thinks that this year we're going to get plenty of rain and enough rain to wipe out any droughts that we're in right now, because we're in a pretty big drought over the past 2 years now. Well, hopefully that's the case. But the rains are starting a little later than they normally do. I've just noticed that stuff's just starting later and later than normal. So, chalk that up to whatever you want to. But it is something that's happening. The school project that I'm doing at the moment, I'm doing it on if there's a relationship between like the past few years at one of the Everglades water stations, like where they do the measurements, called Eden, and seeing if there's a relationship over the past few years with the water levels, if they're going up or down or whatever, and looking at the past few years, like when the rains come and like when the wet season comes, and it's usually like mid to late May, early June. And, you know, everything is up to date. Like literally, like one of the measurements was done the morning that I got the data, and it's going down because it hasn't started raining yet. But this is around, I mean, it should any time now start really coming down, which they're getting rain today. So that'll help them boost those numbers up a bit. Mean old deer fly that was walking on me. I don't even know where he went now. Great. He's gonna crawl right on my crotch. That would not be a fun time to get bit by a deer fly. Smell back. We'll see. I saw Cottonmouth video a while back, and he made the joking comment, "Oh, he's chasing me." What was that about? Well, people automatically assume that cottonmouths chase you. That's like a very big belief that most people have. And it's an unfortunate belief because it's just, dang it, I knew that deer fly would pop up eventually. All right, let me stop real quick because this deer fly is flying around my legs because I smacked it, but he's hopping around. So basically, long story short, it's not true. Cottonmouths will choose a direction they want to go towards it. They're not aggressive. They're defensive. But most of the time, a cottonmouth will choose one direction they want to go, and they'll go, and they'll just gun it if they decide that they want to get away. Because not all of them do. Some of them will just sit there and like slowly meander off. They're not, or they'll sit in one place and like bare their mouth. You know, cottonmouth will show you why they're called cottonmouth. They'll rattle their tail, they'll puff themselves up, they'll flatten themselves out. But I said he was chasing me because he picked the direction he wanted to go, and he just started moving as fast as he could in that direction. And sometimes, if you're standing in front of where that snake wants to go, he'll dart right after you. But if you let him go, he'll go right over your legs, not wanting to have anything to do with you. He's just trying to get away from you. He, she, whatever. So that's why I make that joke. Because, what the heck is that? Is that a stick? I see something in the road. I don't remember that before. Oh, it's a pygmy! Hell yeah! That's some freaking little tiny pygmy. Hey, we got a pygmy for once. My first pygmy rattlesnake of the year. Yeah, he's just wanting to get out of Dodge. Look at this guy. Little tiny pygmy rattlesnake. I was like, that looks like a stick, but I don't remember that before. Look how dark he is. You can see why I thought he was a stick. And so, you see this pygmy right here has a little bit of orange tip on his tail. Vipers. I don't remember what. A lot of vipers will have that yellow tip because you can see how he's flicking it. He's wanting me, because they don't rattle. I mean, they can rattle, but they don't have enough rattles on them, and their buttons are very small. You can kind of see them right there. And he's flicking it around, trying to, he actually has a lot of buttons on it, but they don't rattle like a diamondback or most other rattlesnakes do. So he'll rattle that tail and flick it back and forth to get me to attack that instead of his head, which is right over on this side. It's a very dark pygmy, and he's looking right at me, and they twitch. They do a lot of twitching. You see how he's twitching like that? That's how pygmies, like they're very erratic with their movements. And then they'll pick one place they want to go and just shoot off. This is a smaller one. Look at it, you see how he's all twitchy? It's kind of hard to see because of how dark. Stretched it out, he's probably maybe 10 inches, you know, he's small. So I'm going to get him out of the road, and I'm going to keep on going. Picture of him real quick, actually. Move him out of the way. Come on, bud. If you want to see... Come on, bud. Sorry, that... Of course, he's in the worst spot for me to find him. Alright. Of course he is. Alright, let's see what we can find. Let's say I saw him and I'm like, man, that looked like a stick. It literally looked like a little branch. And I had just passed by that spot because I just turned around up there. So, first pygmy for me for the year. Nice. Well, snakes are moving. A cool snake at that. I don't get one of those on the live yet. That is. Yeah, but literally, I just thought it was a stick in the road. It was very inconspicuous. It was laying out straight for the most part, and it was small. I mean, as soon as I saw him, like, I don't remember that stick being there. Let me go double check that. Sure enough, a little pygmy coming out onto the road. That's a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal. Hoping for a king or a corn snake. I mean, if I found a king, I would be ecstatic. Am I going to find a king? Probably not. Kings are not easy to come across here. They are here, but they're not. I found one unalived one on this road before. That's it. Corn snakes, there's definitely a chance to find them. I wish I could see your live, but it's like, I know. In this area, that's unfortunately the way it is. Most of it shouldn't be like this, but in that little section, of course, where I do find a snake, that's where it's laggy. Hopefully it catches up, equalizes out. Yeah, this is like the only section of these roads that have any issues with service and pixelation, and of course I tend to find snakes in that area. That's the only problem. Ever hear back from that company? Nope, I have not. I heard back from them whenever they were trying to tell me to use different emails, or to like send it to different emails. So I sent it to the one. This lady told me, oh, you want to get in charge in connection with these people. So I messaged them and they said, this email is no longer in service. Connect to this person. So I did. They're like, oh yeah, you got to connect to this person. So I sent it to that final person, and nothing. So I'll eventually probably end up buying one. It's just not in the cards at the moment, especially with the baby coming next month, less than a month away. So I'm not going to be spending that money at the moment. But afterwards, after the baby comes and things kind of settle down a little bit, and if I get my, I mean, I don't see why I won't get it. Thank you. I appreciate that. As soon as I get my class 3 permit to be able to sell class 3 wildlife, and if that becomes my ultimate side gig, you know, that'll work out twofold for me. Because one, I can go out, look for stuff, and especially if it's non-native, I can do a lot more trips down south because I can make money selling non-native stuff. I have a few pet stores I've talked to already. I have a few friends who also like they do like the reptile shows, Repticon and stuff like that. So I have people I can sell to, and what, they're pricey? Oh yeah. Those boosters, they're a few $100 for the cheapest models. And they go upwards from there. So, and I don't know how well it will work. So it's like a gamble. It might. I don't know if it's the type of system that works well enough for you to like just have cell phone signal. Like you can have like 1 bar of 4G out in the middle of the woods where you wouldn't have it before. Yeah, exactly. Or if it's something like, you know, you'll have 3 or 4 bars of 4G, maybe even 5G, and like you can, you know, I don't know how much it covers. And the people I've looked into that have it, they're like, yeah, it just depends on where you're at. And it's like, well, thanks. Like, I know that it depends on where I'm at, but like, is it good service? Is it good internet? Or is it like just enough to get like a phone call out? Because if it's just enough to get a phone call out in the middle of nowhere, that's not worth it for me to do that, because I need to be able to stream, which is kind of, kind of an issue. But yeah, if I start doing, like, I get my people down, they want orders and all that stuff, and I make my way down south, I'll stream while I'm looking for invasives and stuff like that. That would be a lot of fun. I think that would be a really cool thing, looking for tokays and stuff. I know a lot of those areas, yeah, they'll give you an extra bar at minimum. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, which is fine, but like, if it's not like 4 or 5 like really good service enough to stream, it's not really worth it. My service gets 1 bar here. With booster I get full bars. You get full bars 4G, or is this like, like you can use the internet pretty easily on it? Or, because that's the only issue, is that, am I going to be able to get enough service to stream with, not just make a phone call? That's the big thing. Like, because a lot of these places where I have body service, yes, easily. Okay, well, that's a little bit better, and that's the hope. But I'll definitely look into that. A lot of these places I'm going to go to, hopefully down south, once the baby gets here, and afterwards, and get all settled in, hopefully these places will be a little bit easier to work with, like, because most of the places will be in cities and all that, and it won't be that big of a deal to stream in those spots. I'd like to stream like in the Everglades National Park, somewhat, but like, I get pretty decent service down there up to and then it just cuts off completely once you get past a certain point. But for a good portion of the park. But the problem is that a lot of those portions are portions that I like to go to. Just ate a banging cantaloupe. I don't like cantaloupes that much. Hey, Vivo, yes, got a pygmy rattlesnake a few minutes ago. Did get a pygmy, so there's that. So there are snakes moving. Hopefully it keeps up. Hopefully more shows up. Yes, it was alive. It was actually alive. It was my first pygmy of the year. Pygmies are one of my favorites. I do love finding them. I have some spots where I can go to and hike them up. I haven't been to in a while, but right, the ones from the desert here from Mexico, I love them. Yeah, I don't hate them. They're just, I don't know. I love watermelon. Whew, excuse me. Man, I got a little cold coming on. Thinking I got it for my son. But I do like, I love watermelon. Just never really been a big fan of cantaloupe. Thank you. Yeah, I've been sniffling all day and I got a sore throat. It could be one of those ones where, like, I wake up tomorrow morning and have a cough and it's terrible. I go through the full cold, or it could get better. I don't know yet. But I guess only time will tell. Yeah, if I get this, and I should hopefully by the end of the week have some idea of whether I'm getting my permit or not. If I can get it, that'll change a lot. Things will be, I'm excited for that, if that all works out properly. Ooh. More smears on the road that I just saw that I have seen every single time I pass, but think it could be something. How's y'all's week been? What's a class 3 give you? So the class 3, it just depends on which class 3 you have. So the one I am getting is the commercial class 3, which means that I can sell and buy any animal that is considered a class 3 animal in Florida. So, like anything that's legal, basically, that doesn't require special permits to own. Do cobras eat mongoose? I don't believe they do. They might, but I don't believe they target mongoose. I don't believe so. Mongoose will eat them though. But yeah, the class 3 just lets me buy and sell legally any reptiles, or I mean more than just reptiles, but any animals that's considered a class 3, and you'd have to go through the list. There's a long list. Mongoose have pretty good venom immunity, right? More than meerkats, I think. Yeah, well, I mean, meerkat is a species of mongoose, but yes, it's mongoose. They're not immune to the venom, but they don't have as bad a reaction. So they can get bit, and they tend to be able to fight it off, but they can be killed by the venom. Pretty good week. About to go hunt a pig. Got to be careful. Timber rattler shit. Yeah, I've never seen a timber in the wild. I've only seen them in captivity. How would that even happen? What do you mean? How would what even happen? The mongoose getting around them? I mean, mongoose purposefully hunt cobras. In a lot of the areas they live side by side. All cobras can do is bite. Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's the thing, is like, I mean, I'm sure they could eat them, but most cobras tend to be, a lot of them tend to be snake eaters. I mean, you know, there's other stuff they eat too. They'll eat, you know, rodents and stuff too, but, yeah, cobra eating the mongoose. I mean, it's possible. It's just that the mongoose, like, has evolved specifically to be able to take on cobras. So it's like, I think more often than not, the cobra is on the losing end of that battle. And because they can take a bite from a cobra and not be killed by it, there's really not much that a cobra can do if a mongoose decides that he wants to make a snack out of that cobra. Especially if there's multiple mongoose. And like, when it comes to meerkats, but realistically, yeah, it's probably not happening realistically. No, I got this fan in my car that I need to replace. I have to bang it to get it to come back on when it starts to slow down. Kind of ridiculous for having a relatively newer car. My mic down to my shirt so I can put my light on my head instead of my hat, because I'm not gonna want to have to do that if I get out of the car because there's a snake and I need the light. Give another couple of loops on this road. Go down to one of the main roads, come back. It sounds like the brushes are going. My roommate and I used single window fan for years straight up. We had the jump start by spinning the blades by the end. Yeah, it's I don't know exactly what's wrong with it. I probably could mess with it and figure it out, but I don't know. Maybe I'm too lazy or something. I don't know. Just haven't wanted to spend the money, because if I hit it enough times, it starts working. It's just annoying that it dies off, you know, after a little bit. I know it sounds delicious with me snorting. It's going to be a friggin' mouth breather today. Ooh, what is that in the road? Is that a little bird? Yeah, there's little birds in the road. See if I can get another garter snake tonight. That would be pretty cool. Not many native stuff I would keep, but garter snake, especially our blue varieties we have here, they definitely probably will come home with me. Well, yeah, the hope is that I can go down and do some streams where I'm looking for chameleons or tokay geckos or whatever else, non-native stuff, go down and catch a lot of the non-native lizards, night anoles and basilisks, gammas, stuff like that. Catch them in bulk, kind of rid some. I mean, South Florida's got so many invasive species, might as well go and try to collect on the bounty a little bit, And also we have brown anoles everywhere, which are non-native, and people keep them as pets, especially in places where they don't live, which is most of the country. They're common for us, but they're not common. That's one of the crazy things, is like the little brown lizards that we have running around here in Florida. Florida sounds like ground zero for invasive species. It's one of them, just because it doesn't get too cold here, and it gets just warm enough so that it's a happy zone for a lot of animals. Animals that live in colder environments that can handle it don't get frozen out, and animals that can't deal with the cold, and they especially down South Florida, it rarely gets below 50 degrees during the winter, which is just warm enough that a lot of these tropical species can survive. So it's considered subtropical down there. So they don't really they can reproduce and kind of thrive. Not everything does. There are some species that could have been established, but they're not, because, well, they just don't do well. In during the hurricane, I think it was Andrew, the one that knocked down the building that all the Burmese pythons were in, the skinning building. Now, that is a funny story in and of itself, because I've heard that forever, but I don't know 100% if that's even a true story, because I've heard people go and look to see what the actual facility was, and it was just, all they say is it's a facility. So I got to look into that. That might be a story I cover, because I don't even know if that was a true facility, but that's just what I've always been told. And instead of doing my due diligence and looking to see if it was real, that's just what everyone repeats. So I'm going to go look into that and see if that's an actual thing. But anyways, supposedly there was also reticulated pythons in that facility that escaped, and there was like 100 or 200 or something like that. It was like a significant amount of reticulated pythons, but they never established. They established in Puerto Rico. You can go down to Puerto Rico and catch reticulated pythons, but Puerto Rico is a fully tropical environment. So I don't know if it just gets too cold for wild retics here in Florida. And then there's like ball pythons. Ball pythons, there are some places where they supposedly have established, but like people go and say they can find them. And you get the random one here and there, but they're not like a huge issue here. It's just not the same kind of environment they would get in the western part of Africa where they live. Red-tailed boas, you get a few places every now and then that you can go and find a couple of them, but they're not like really established. They're not blown up like a lot of the other species are. Rainbow boas, there's a few places where you can find them, but again, a lot of these animals are not widely established. The Burmese pythons are widely established in the Everglades because of the type of environment it is. It can handle that large of a snake that lives in water. Reticulated pythons don't really live in water. They're arboreal. So like they're one of the few larger snakes that, yes, they can get very heavy, but they can stay a lot of their times in trees. And they need to be out of the water, unlike, a Burmese python or an anaconda, which spend a significant amount of time in the water. Anacondas basically spend all their time in the water. And I don't know if it's just not tropical enough for the anacondas to really establish themselves. So it's just a weird thing where not every species that you would think that should, is here, a lot of them never were really able to establish. So there's a lot of parameters there. The crocodilians tend to have an easier time because they tend to be able to handle colder temperatures, and they have a wide variety of food they can eat, and it's easier for them to move, blah, 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 blah. Waterways, it's a different sort of scenario. So people are worried about crocodilians. There are spectacled caiman. There were rumors that there were Nile crocodiles, but I think all of them have been captured. Like they never were able to establish. There's a bunch of random ones here and there as well, random species that just never could quite get a foothold, and that's probably for the best. Now, there are some Nile monitors in certain areas, but again, they're very specific locations where these animals live and probably are not breeding, and like a reproductive, surviving and being able to reproduce are two different things. Some animals need certain things in order to be able to reproduce. Like, as an example, and this is kind of far flung out there, but just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, fly river turtles from Australia. They're the freshwater turtles that have like the pig nose, but they also have like webbed fins, and kind of like they're starting to go towards the way of like a sea turtle would look. They lay their eggs in the muddy banks of a river, and they only hatch after the floods come and wash the eggs into the water and basically start drowning them. And that's when the eggs hatch. So like, they need very specific requirements to be able to reproduce properly. And you're not always going to get that places. What's crazy? What, the fly river reproduction? Oh yeah. So yeah, they have a very specific way that they breed. So like, just because the temperature and the humidity might be somewhat right, it's not going to be that way all the time. It's just like, people are like, well, there's alligators in Tennessee now. Well, the reason that alligators aren't in like the northern part of Georgia, it's like the pine cones that need wildfires to open up. Kind of, yeah, it's the same sort of thing. Like, certain plants require a certain type of thing to happen for them to have their normal reproductive cycles. And if humans go out of their way to mitigate that, to stop that from happening, some plants will suffer and die off eventually. They might be fine and grow up big and whatever, but if there's not enough to then, they're used to a cycle every so often. If those cycles are interrupted, you may not notice it at first, but over the course of a couple of what would be generations, less and less of those species are proliferating, and you have a bigger and bigger issue. And that's the thing about conservation as a whole. Like, I don't know how many of you guys were in the live earlier today, but that's the problem that people have with conservation right now, is that we develop and we put in these new homes and like scorch earth everything basically. And then you go in and you put these non-native grasses in. And then in order for those non-native grasses to survive in the area you have them in, you have to, you have to fertilize them. I am congested. I'm a mouth breather right now. But in order for those, the non-native grasses to survive, you have to constantly water them. You have to fertilize them. You have to make sure no bugs eat them. And you end up making, even though it looks green, and it is, you basically end up making a desert, for an ecological desert. Nothing native can live in those areas. They're either all killed out. Ooh, there's a snake right there. Oh, let me try to grab that real quick. He got away. It looked like a ribbon snake. He saw me and backed up and shot back into the woods. Dang it. Well, there was a snake. As soon as I saw him and I said, oh, there's a snake, I saw him hightailing it backwards, which isn't helpful. All right. So I came in April for cold just coming out. Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, it happens every once in a while. I think I got a cold from my son. He had a little bit of a congestion thing going on. But, yeah, you end up creating a desert where native animals can't survive even though it looks green. And you water it and you manicure it, and then it turns into a whole bunch of other problems. So, like these giant... It always avoids cars. That ribbon snakes will have many babies. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully, yeah, that is very true. The one that immediately runs away rather than the one that sits in the middle of the road will have a better chance of producing young. So the more and more that start to go away, it's unfortunate for me at the moment, but it's good for the species in the long run, for sure. But yeah, you end up creating these ecological deserts, and it's very unfortunate, but it's happening all over the world. You know, one of the easiest ways to avoid that would be just to plant native plants, because if you did that, you would have to spend way less money. And this is something I found out recently too, is that grass yards are considered, depending on the car, yeah, if depending on, oh my God, how you quantify it, but grass yards are considered the #1 agricultural crop in the world. So it's a weird thing. Oh, there's a snake right there. Ribbon snake. There we go. Oh. And he shot off. Well, I saw him. Guys, and I hope you guys saw him too. And I got a deer fly going after my headlamp. But yeah, if you planted native grasses, you would have the animals that can live off of those grasses start coming to your yard. So you're giving your local ecosystem a place to actually have a foothold. You'll have places for bees to go. You'll have places for the native little animals, bugs and all that stuff. So, some people don't like that idea though. A lot of people don't. It's unfortunate. But you also wouldn't have to water it as much because the native plants are used to this, they have evolved to live in the cycles that your native environment has. They're used to the temperatures. They don't need extra fertilizers because they can just survive on what's there. There are flowering ground covers that spread their roots and can withstand foot traffic. It never needs to be mowed again. Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff like that. But people have it in their mind. Yeah, and it is. People have it in their mind that they have to have that green manicured grass. And I think that's the next big stigma that needs to go away. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I have a hard time feeling like I'm telling people what to do because I really don't like that. But yeah, it seems like big lawn. Yeah, and like Scots turf builder. However that accent is. That Scott's is like one of the worst companies out there. Like their fertilizers and everything are super destructive. Fruit from fruit trees you'll replace your lawn with, and said, yeah, and there's so many things like that. but like native hedges, there's every place that you live has native stuff that you can plant there that will pretty much make up. I mean, it won't look exactly like the perfectly manicured green lawn, but you can make it in a way and plant it in a way that is easy to use, is beautiful, and is beneficial. If you're gonna have your walkway, you know, and you don't have native grasses that stay short and blah, 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 well, maybe put some gravel down in a certain area, but then have the rest of it surrounded by native plants, you know, you make it beautiful. You know, how many people, like truly, how many people actually spend time in their front lawn? You know, I think you'll have a hard time convincing those suburban dads who've been in their lawn care pastime hobbies. Yeah, I know. Probably won't happen anytime soon, but you start pushing it now, maybe some people will start to, maybe it'll be a new trend. I don't know. Anyone interested in getting less of low? I mean, it's yeah, definitely. If you go to the Discord, I know that Saget will love to give you some of that info on where's grass seeds, sod for like, yeah, water for like, yeah, it's a big industry for sure. But there's a lot of big industries that are being cut down on because of that, you know, and unfortunately, a lot of it, and not all boomers are like this, but unfortunately that's something that a lot of boomers were taught, that that's the way things need to be. And there's always a time to cut that stigma. I have 9 different lists, basically the whole country. It's excessive. Nice. Yeah, but there's a lot of things you can do. Also, when it's, ooh, is this a snake? No, it's not. It's also insane energy spilled on lawn care in suburban America. Yeah, that's what Ocho was saying with big lawn. Yep, it's a big issue, but you know, and the weird thing is, like, I never thought I would be talking like this for a while. Like, a few years ago, I probably would have called myself a hippie, to be quite honest. But like, the more I look into it, I'm like, it doesn't really seem like, I don't know. It seems like there are easy things to do that don't bite your tongue, you whippersnapper. Exactly. I was waiting on you, Green Ranger. There's a bunch of easy things you can do that it's just like, it's not like it's a huge change. It's not like it's a big deal. It's not like I'm like, I once wrote a story, don't be a pond of big lawn. Nice. We only need that kind of lawn care for our baseball diamonds. Yeah, I agree. Every once in a while, I think it's okay to have that in moderation. And, you know, sports complexes, I can understand, except for golf courses. God, I hate golf courses. I'm sorry if you like golf. I can't stand golf courses, but that's just me. But you're never going to get golf short courses to change their mind. That's the whole point of having a golf course, is that it's a perfectly manicured, giant, sprawling lawn. That's like 50% of what Florida is now is golf courses. If we get rid of all the lawns, I'll even let the golf course slide. I agree. Hey, that's fine. I agree with that. And if you want to live on a manicured lawn that much, live in one of those golf course communities. Ooh, there's something bright and shiny in the road. Oh, there's a whippoorwill in the road. And whippoorwills are a part of the nightjar family. I think it is just called a nightjar, but we just call them whippoorwills. Same thing. All you need to do is look at satellite images of the desert and you'll hate golf courses even more. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad. Grandpa is down in Florida 50% of the year just playing golf. It's baby boomers' revenge. Yeah, ooh, there's a snake right here. What is that? Is that a rat snake? I think it's a rat snake. Ooh, we're getting active tonight. That is a rat snake. Look at that, guys. We got ourselves a nice little integrate or a golf hammock rat snake. There's nothing wrong with being a boomer. It's just tends to be boomers that still have a lot of those beliefs. Oh, hi, bud. You gonna bite me? Again, I don't hate boomers, but boomers tend to be the people that are not only living in these places, but can afford to live in those places. I ain't buying a house anytime soon because I can't afford it. Look at that. And especially here in Florida, most of the houses that are put in place now, even the old ones built in the 50s, my parents' house as an example, when they bought it in like 2012, it was like 80,000, and now it's worth almost 400,000. They haven't done anything to it. The only people that can afford that for the most part are people with money, and most people with money tend to be boomers right now. Again, I don't hate them. I'm going to put him right in the tree here. Here, I hear some frogs in there for you. Here, look at right behind you. Oh, there you go. Whoo! All right. I touched the ribbon snake before, so I'll count that. The second one that I was able to get out, and I touched it for a brief second. Not everybody, of course. This is not a catch-all term. Just tends to be. That's the thing. Tends to be. Doesn't mean everybody. Just means a good majority. Of course, a lot of the people my age tend to be liberal. I am not liberal. Not that there's anything wrong with being liberal. I just don't have a lot of those beliefs. I don't hate people who don't agree with me. I think that's part of the problem. But pointing out that most of them tend to be, I don't think that's much of an issue. It's just stating the way things are. But yeah, I mean, if you come down to Florida, most of the people living in these new houses are either Yankees, which you know, somebody from up north. In my eyes, that's what I call a Yankee, even if they're not from New York. And they tend to be older. Kudos, YouTubers, I give you props. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I appreciate you being here, Teresa, and I am not trying to slander you in the excuse. So you hung your tree the other day. Exactly. If you get kissed by a non-venomous snake, do you clean hydrogen peroxide? No. Nope, I do not. You can. You probably should. Don't take my advice for it. Yeah, exactly. I am right there with you, Teresa. I am 100% right there with you. The only issue I see with a lot of that now is I'm having to come to terms with oh, to finish up real quick. No, I usually don't. I mean, I'll go, ooh, there's a cottonmouth right there. He's coming out onto the road. I think it's cottonmouth. It's a big snake. I'm pretty sure it's cottonmouth. Yep, it's cottonmouth. Let me get my hook. Look at that. Snakes are moving tonight. Not a big one. Hey, bud. How you doing? How you doing? Oh, you gonna chase me off the road? I see how it is, bro. I see how it is. Holy, he's puffing up. Whoo! Okay. This is gonna be a snaky night if it keeps up like this. Yeah, well, we didn't get there. There was no rain here. It didn't come this far north. But I agree with you. I think it's a little cooler today than it has been. And the change in pressure, because just because it didn't rain doesn't mean the pressure didn't change. I think it's definitely that weather. That's why I wanted to come out today, because I saw that it wasn't raining up here. I'm like, ooh, I have a feeling snakes are going to be moving. And they are so far. So that's what number, I'll consider that number 4 in hand. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I saw lightning in the clouds when you turn around. Yes, there's lightning behind me, probably on the other coast. I don't know. I haven't checked the radar. But over the next few days, we're going to get a lot of rain here. That's pretty good. It's not even completely dark yet, and that's 4 snakes already. So hopefully it keeps up like this. And with it, and it's nice and humid. It says on my car it's 82, so it's not overly cool. I'm feeling pretty good. But yeah, what I was gonna say before I got in the car with a beautiful orange sherbet sky. Yeah, it is pretty. Can't afford to move. Rent is third anywhere else. Yeah, well, that's nice. That's one of the reasons I'm not moving from where I'm at for at least another year, is because I can't afford to move back down to Pinellas County, where I'm from, because I'd basically be paying twice the amount of rent for maybe the same size, if not smaller place. I can't afford it. It's too expensive. Florida is ridiculous right now. But yeah, I mean, I'll go home tonight and I'll take a shower. And I pretty much don't really do anything else. Now, some people will freak out and clean up after themselves. You know, if they get bit by something, sure, you put peroxide on it, whatever, you know, a little Neosporin on it. I mean, you can get an infection from a snake bite for sure. I just don't really get sick or get infections. I know I have a bit of a cold right now, but this is usually the worst it gets. I don't really have issues with that. I just kind of let my body do its thing. You know, I don't know. Stability is important. Better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, agreed. So yeah, no, I don't know. I just don't really mess with it too much when I get bit by some. Ooh, there's an owl sitting here. Look at that. That's a different owl than before. Ooh, what is that something on the side of the road right here? No, it's just a little bit of a black line. That owl was looking for snakes. Guarantee it. Or frogs. Or bugs. But if a snake came on the road, he would be one of the first to go down and grab it. Owls love some snakes. And that's one of the hard things about when people are driving down the road and owls down there eating something. That's how a lot of times is because they don't always get out of the road in time when people are driving fast. Appreciate the streams and the opportunity to learn. Thanks, DNA. Not a problem. I enjoy doing these. I love it when you guys are here. I like doing these types of streams too. It's not that I don't like doing the sitting at home type streams, but like I'm not really good at, unless I have like a certain topic, I'm not good at pulling things out of my butt. You ever go bullfrog hunting? I have not done it. I would do it, but I haven't done it. But I've eaten bullfrog before, and frog legs are delicious. Definitely something I would do. I definitely want to do more streams like this in different places. Part of the reason I haven't gone for any other types of trips, like at least in different places, because A, I know that I'm not going to have service, so I can't really live stream. If it wasn't barred owl, it looks like you got a short-eared owl based on your location. No, it was a barred owl. I'm pretty sure it was a barred owl. I'm like 99% sure. There was another barred owl that's right up the road here that I saw earlier in the stream. It's the same one I've seen multiple times here too. Been bullfrog hunting, they bite worms just like blue. Yep, that's how I caught my first bullfrogs. I just put a little piece of rubber worm on the hook and pulled them up. Your YouTube shorts hooked me. Have to have caught this lot. Happy to caught it. The thing is, like, I know I do the YouTube shorts and I enjoy doing and that's honestly where I make the majority of my income, but I want to do more than just YouTube shorts. I won't stop the YouTube shorts. I don't hate, like so many people hate on the YouTube shorts and like the TikToks and everything. I don't, as long as you do it the right way, it can be informative, but you have to cram a certain amount of information into one little bit. And, you know, that's oftentimes why a lot of them are just kind of dumb, because like people will just try to say things to get people to watch for that short amount of time. I try to be informative as much as possible. I also like talking about news stuff, like animal news related topics that a lot of people won't see or won't watch long form videos on. My only issue is I don't know if it's because I do the shorts or maybe because of my long form content just isn't great, which it probably is a mixture of both. I got to continue with the long form stuff. It's just it's a it's a lot of effort for very little return for the most part, and I have to work on that. That's definitely something that I get discouraged by, because like I'll put, say, 30 minutes of work into a short, and it might get on YouTube and it might get, millions of views. And then I might put 24 hours worth of work into a really edited video, which I'm not even great at editing. So like, it's not as good of a quality as I would like it to be, but like, I just, it's just a ton of work to put into it for it to get maybe 1,000 views. And then sometimes it'll start doing better, and like I'll have a couple videos in a row that do really well for my channel, and then all of a sudden it'll die off again. And I'm like, I don't know what the issue is. I'm not gonna stop, but I also want my content to evolve in a way that I am proud of it too. Javon Dovey has a great video on why shorts erode your long videos. Yeah, I've seen that before. I've also seen those same type of people, and I don't know that one in particular, but I see people that are like, YouTube shorts will ruin this because of this, and like, I get that to an extent. I 100% do. I've had long videos that have 300,000 views. Like I know I can get the viewership, but and especially with like the live stuff recently, it's definitely bringing in more of a crowd that will watch long form stuff. So I'm trying to build that up, but I also am not making the type of videos yet that I really want to make with my long form videos. Like the video essays, I do those because that's the type of content I can do, and it might be a seasonal thing. I'm not 100% sure, but this is not the long form stuff that I've been doing. It's more of a video essay type thing. I enjoy those, but it's not what I want to do in the long run. What I want to do in the long run is like documentary style videos. I want to go out to the Everglades and spend a few days out there and do like a full on like episode of like going over a specific topic, and like doing one of those animal content type things. Like, I guess you could say like not in the same style as Coyote Peterson, but without getting bit by stuff, but like the other stuff he does, or like like Steve Irwin or Nigel Marvin, or like those guys, Jeff Corwin, that type of video. I would love to do that type of stuff, but do it for a more modern audience. We'll wait for you when we place to start doing that. Really want you to do. We'll still be here, I'm sure. Oh, well, that's awesome. I appreciate that. I really do. But that is the eventual goal. It's also been a bit of a struggle in the sense that like, I think I jumped into making this my full-time job too early. And so like, I've had to struggle for a bit, which is, I am very fortunate to be in that. And this is not me complaining at all, but like, I've had to work on the things I can do with the amount of money I make, and also balance my family life on top of that as well. So it's like, it's just been a big roller coaster of trying to figure things out. I know this is what I want to do, and that's partially why I started going back to school too. I had the opportunity where I was spending more time at home. I want to be educated and, have a degree, and possibly be able to use that degree for things in the future that like, I will be able to get into more places to do content, because like, oh, he has a degree in wildlife conservation, so he's not just some rando person. Not that you can't do this if you're a rando, but like, it just helps me a little better be able to get like my foot in the door of certain types of arenas, if that makes sense. If I were to do like a speaking event or something, oh, he has a degree and he knows what he's talking about. Like, that's like, it puts people's minds at ease when it comes to that sort of stuff. Your heart is in the content, numbers will be. Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. So I definitely need to work on that. I'm going to do one more. I'll go a little bit further down. But that's the eventual goal with a lot of this stuff. Also, like, I used to comment on every single comment I got. And I just can't do that like I used to. Like I got to a point where it's like some videos, like I'm constantly getting inundated. I try my best to do some replies. There's some comments that are just outright ridiculous that I just never gonna comment on. And then if someone has like a genuine statement or question, I try my best to get to them. But you know, like I don't want to be far out there to a point. The desire to further credibility or distinction is perfectly valid, especially in the academic and scientific fields. Exactly. You could always become an exotic male dancer. You saw me in person, Green Ranger. I don't have the body for that. Thanks, though. Perhaps even necessary in some circumstances. Yeah, exactly. So, like, I don't like the idea of being a gatekeeper, you know, or people gatekeeping like certain fields, because I think you can do plenty of things if you don't have a degree. But it's also like certain fields, no matter, or certain things you do, no matter what. This isn't the yoink guy. No, I'm not the yoink guy. I know the yoink guy, but I am not the yoink guy. I hopefully will do some stuff with the yoink guy here pretty soon. Maybe even yoinking together. You never know. You don't fat shame. Look at me. Oh no, yeah, Garrett's great. I've talked to him a few times. We hopefully will be doing some stuff here in the future. But and that's the thing is, like, speaking of which, me and him have talked about doing like a documentary on Florida and some of the things happening here. And like comments, people need to feel validated. Yeah, exactly. Some people do. There's an enormous level of elitism in academic fields. It can be brutal. It's really bad for academics. Yeah, it can be. And that's part of the problem too, is like, what I would like to do, and what one of the goals of what I want to do with my channel in general is to show the average person that isn't involved in conservation or the animal world that, I mean, of course, I think that this is the goal of a lot of these animal creators, is, you know, nature creators, whatever you want to call them. Is to show them that, you know, you got to get people invested in the thing for them to care about it, but also show that it doesn't take like a ton to change like a lot. Like, you can do little things. You know, you can show them that, you know, the animals that they're afraid of, like snakes as an example. People hate snakes and they'll just kill them because they're snakes. And if I can change a few people's minds and show them that it's not really a big deal and that they don't chase you, like, that's why I do the video of the Cottonmouth. Oh, he's chasing me, but when he's not, because it's like, yeah, they don't. But then you'll get a ton of people, you should have killed it, and it's like, you know, they don't care. But there's a few people that'll be like, I thought they chased you, and it's like, no, they really don't. That might change a few people's minds, and maybe they'll teach their kids that, you know, I don't know. It's just little things here and there that I'm trying to get across, and hopefully that changes people's minds in the future. And that's the general idea and general goal. But and also put into perspective the amount of devastation happening in the environment in Florida, especially right now, because that's just what I'm dealing with the most. And all of the destruction that has to do with you know, the development and all of that. If I can help, you know, bring, you know, show that that's a huge issue, then awesome. But, you know, and then also if I do like a documentary, like a legit documentary, if you don't have a degree, you're just spouting things, a lot of people won't take you seriously no matter what. But if I have a degree in wildlife conservation, well, that adds a bit of credibility that might change a few people's minds who are very big on the credibility aspect. So, I used to be one of those, but I've learned that I'm a better person for it. So pick them up. Yeah, I know. You don't have to pick them up. That's the thing. You don't have to. You just don't have to kill them. You don't have to kill them, and that's it. I don't need to go and picking up snakes, especially if you don't know much about snakes. I would prefer you don't pick up snakes if you don't know anything about snakes. That's actually I would advise you to leave them alone. But that's the whole thing. Just leave them alone. And if I can get a few people to change their mind, just let that snake go about its day rather than chopping its head off, I feel pretty good about that. Only like few will stay true to their original pursuit. The rest come of their own egos. Yeah, you know, it's I also am trying to just stay myself as much as possible. That's why, like, when I do these, I try to do the lives so I can like connect with you guys a little bit more too, because like, I mean, if you're here, you know that, I mean, I try to read every single comment and reply to it, and I try to actually be really involved in that, because I'm just a dude. That's all there is to it. There's nothing super special about me. I'm just a guy who likes to talk, and for some reason you guys like to listen, and that's really all there is to it. All right, when I make this final turn, and at least there hasn't been, when I first pulled up on this before I went live, there was a few cars, but I haven't seen a single car on the road since those few cars in the very beginning, which is nice. All right, let's get a snake on this last turn out of here. That would be pretty cool to get another one. So we got 4 so far, and that's pretty good. I'd say that's a pretty good start. A lot of frogs on the road. Everyone is special in their own way. Stop knocking yourself down. I'm not knocking myself down. I'm not. I don't feel like, I'm not like bashing myself. I'm just saying, like, when I mean that there's nothing special, I just mean that it's not like there's anything inherently different about me. I'm just a normal dude. I don't have that big, even saying this sounds kind of cringe to me, but I feel like I have a big ego trip. I don't like, oh, look at that, I have 300,000 plus subscribers on YouTube. I'm like, I don't care about that stuff. It's nice, but like, that's not what drives me. That's what I meant by that. Coyotes are just now starting to gather here in Oklahoma. No, there's coyotes in Oklahoma for sure. You just might not see them, but they're definitely there. You just might be noticing them a little bit more now, but they've been there for a while. Right. A lot of frogs hopping around, which is nice. Hopefully there's stuff going after those frogs. I mean, howling together before dark. Oh, gotcha. Even science departments have become weighted down with politics, and these days, unfortunately, the golden era of academia has long passed. To an extent, you're right. Part of the problem is that there are so many people who distrust science in general that they just throw the baby out with the bathwater, and they're like, I don't trust this thing, so I don't trust any of it. Yeah, the earth is flat because they told me it wasn't. Watch, all my professors have to do some BS that was completely unnecessary for them, totally soul drained. Yeah, it's just, it's very sad and unfortunate. And there's a lot of that I agree with. Like, it's just dumb. Like, it's hard to rely on a lot of scientific studies, because scientific studies and peer-reviewed studies are very important. But you can also, like, money has infiltrated it for sure. So, like, I don't necessarily trust every study I read, but there's some things that I do trust to an extent. But that's why you got to be careful. You know, it's hard to make bold, outright claims on things, because, you know, down the line, it might be proven wrong. And that's that's one of the things that really frustrates me about, like, especially like the young Earth creationists. They'll take a study and be like, see, the scientists don't even agree on this. So, like, how are you going to trust them? It's just like, and then they'll use a study in their next, you know, argument to show that they're right. And it's like, you pick and choose which study that you will want to follow based on what it's saying, because you like what this one is saying versus what that one is saying. Like, there's plenty of studies that disprove what you're saying, but it's hard to get that. And like the whole thing, especially with, you have to learn what makes a good study, and you need to look for yourself. It's so much more work than people. Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Just reading the abstract and the conclusion isn't the best way to go about it. And I've done that a lot for sure. But like you can usually tell based on how much information is there. Imagine the state mankind would be now without science if we still, yeah, exactly. It would be, we wouldn't be where we are at now. And, especially like, especially online, the problem is you get a lot of people who want to believe a certain thing and just have a good voice. So they'll go out and they'll say whatever comes to mind or whatever thing. They'll parrot a lot of stuff. And I've done it too. I've parroted information. When I do my research on my videos, what I try to do is, like, say I'll get a viral video or a news clip or something. I'll read the article, summarize what they're saying. If I don't agree or think that there's something that needs to be added, I'll research it. And I try to use a few different places and get different sources, because sometimes, like, if you read the first thing that pops up on Google, especially now with like the AI that they have set up for Google, like, you're not going to get the right information a lot of times. It'll be off. So like, if you say something, and I've had this happen on like Facebook a lot, if you say something, people will like search up the thing that they want to search up, screenshot the first thing that pops into Google and be like, see, you're wrong. And it's like, yeah, because you're literally just searching keywords, and there are sites that will agree with what you say, and it pops up as the keyword on your search. So like, that's the first thing that pops up. You got to actually look into what the source is saying. Like, you got to read a little bit. Like, if I'm looking at basic information, like if I'm looking at the size of an animal or something, if I use the first thing that pops up when I'm searching the size of a harpy eagle versus a Philippine eagle, there are sources that, and I fell into this trap too, there was a source saying that they're basically the same size, and then people are like, no, they're not. And I'm like, that was my bad. I didn't look into more sources that would have told me otherwise. And there's a few times where I'm like, that doesn't sound right, and whatever the case may be. Like, I've fallen into that trap too. It's very difficult to get, even if you search it and Google it, you're not always going to get the right information. It's very, very frustrating. So you just got to be careful, and also look at what site you're getting it from. If you look up, how old is the Earth? Is the Earth 6,000 years old? The first things that will pop up will be young Earth creation sites. Of course they're going to tell you that. Then they're going to tell you the science is wrong and blah, 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 blah. You're only going to find the things that you want to find. And what are they? And, there's very few people that will genuinely actually look into it. But that's just the way things do, unfortunately. Hopefully down this little stretch we get something. I know there was that dead cottonmouth I talked about earlier was on this little stretch, so we'll probably come across it here in a minute, unless something moved it out of the road, which is always possible. If there's something dead in the road, there's a good chance that, oh, here it is right here. Yep, there's that dead cottonmouth in the middle of the road. But there's a good chance that something will come by sometime tonight and eat it. Drag it off the road, and you'll never know it's there. Raccoons and possums will do that a lot. Coyotes. If they're still there by daylight, and vultures will. Cycle, my brothers, straight from the path. Whatever is natural science. Yeah, it's also, it's hard to make bold, assertive claims, because people just like to argue semantics as well, which is fine. It just depends on the type of person you are. Some people don't like arguments at all. Some people can handle hearing something they don't like. Most people can't. Unfortunately, a lot of the scientific stuff is debated. Being able to eat really old dead stuff is such a great adaptation. Yep, it is. just widens the amount of, things that you can deal with, the amount of places you can live. If there's not much to eat off of, and you're out in the desert as an example, and there's not much stuff for you to eat normally, you're able to smell that like a vulture. That thing died of a disease or dehydration or whatever it is, been sitting out there for a couple days. Well, botulism's got nothing on me. My stomach acid will just dissolve that stuff. It's a great thing. I will not eat mammoth. Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, if they brought them back, I'd eat a mammoth. But they wouldn't be fully mammoth, would they? It'd be like some unholy hybrid. We got that car. Is there another one coming? I don't think so. All right. Hello, Vomitos. Everybody, let's go. Come on, let's get to it. I know that we can do it. Where are we going? Find some snakes. Where are we going? Find some snakes. Hopefully I get something. Hopefully it didn't just die down right as the sun was setting. Because these days watching Dora won't even know what a map is. Yeah, well, what do you mean? Do they not have a map anymore in Dora? Not that I watched Dora as a kid, it was around. There's a car behind me, of course. Pull over and let this car pass real quick. They know who Garmin is. Yeah, true. Well, Garmin, is Garmin even a thing anymore? Or was that something that was only around like in the early 2000s when I was a kid? I remember, so when I was in middle school, I went on a trip to Michigan with my mother to visit some family, and we flew into Flint. We bought a map of Michigan and used the map to get to where we needed to go. So, and then right after that, we started using MapQuest, downloading it and, printing out the directions, and we would follow whatever the MapQuest directions would say. And then not too long after that, I think my mom had a Garmin at one point. It wasn't a Garmin, it was like some knockoff brand. And then we just, then we got phones really quickly after that had GPS on it. So it was like a very quick succession. It was only a few years in between, paper maps, MapQuest, Garmin, and then phones. Google's man's new best friend, yeah. Most can't read a paper map. True, a lot of people can't. Here's the thing. I think it's a lot easier than people think it is. It is easy to read a map. It literally shows you what the thing is that you're at. But at the same time, I know people who even if they live in the area for however long, they use their GPS to get everywhere no matter what. It could be the same route, but I oftentimes will use it. Wait, where do you buy maps now? A lot is not the answer. Are you still older? Try and book and drive for Colorado. You can get them at a lot of gas stations. There's a lot of big gas stations that'll have them, especially if they're off the highway, or interstate or whatever. They usually have some sort of map I mean, you go to your local like big retail store and they'll have maps. You can easily find maps still. It's just not as plain and obvious as it used to be. There's somebody coming up behind me fast. But yeah, I mean, you can go into the store and still buy them. They're going to get that kind of education. Yeah, true. I mean, it's just one of those things where like, I don't know, like Google Maps can be a great tool, and obviously I use it a lot, but like, I mean, I didn't use it to get up here because I knew which way I needed to go and I knew there wouldn't be traffic. But like, I use Google Maps for traffic most of the time, is I'm not going to take the turnpike if there's a crash on it and it's telling me it's going to take an extra 45 minutes, you know? Garmin is still a thing, a very big thing. Most aircraft use Garmin GPS systems in them, sorry, Google, and as far as Sync goes. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. Like, I know that there's people use like GPS systems, but the average person tends not to, at least younger person doesn't use them. I don't know any younger person that does. Do you have to be AAA or they will sell? They are scant. It's very hard to lose a GPS signal. Yeah, and once you got Google Maps keyed in, it doesn't matter. Like if you have it on your phone, it doesn't matter if you go through an area with no signal, as long as you have it keyed in and you're not having to search for your location when you're out of service, you're fine. But again, if you're in an area that has no service and you can't search for it, I mean, it becomes a little bit more difficult for sure. It definitely becomes a bit more difficult, but it just depends on the situation you're in, of course. So I don't know. Most younger people won't get out of the house nowadays. That sounds like a boomer take. I mean, I don't get out of the house that much nowadays. It's because I work from home for the most part. But I mean, I'm out of the house right now. A lot of people, like my brother and sister are younger. I'm the oldest. And they're in their early 20s, and they get out of the house way more than I do. They're always doing stuff. Me, on the other hand, I've never been like an out and about person. I mean, I guess a little bit. Most people use their phones, but yeah, Garmin is a big company, aircraft navigation system. By the way, Green, see Fly Girl. Try using Google Phone GPS in Richland. Yeah, I mean, Richland's pretty easy to navigate for the most part. And then also like the map might come out blurry on your phone, but you can still get an idea of where you are. It'll still pick up your GPS location, relatively speaking. So like, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but if you're going way out in the middle of the boonies, you need something else, but you're going to spend significant time. Sure, you might need something else, but it's not, I don't know. I don't think it should be that difficult to read a map. But also, I'll say this, a lot of people judge, like, especially older generation versus younger generation, judge the capability of younger people based on the technologies that they used to have to use. A lot of the technologies that you used to have to use in your everyday life don't exist anymore in the normal world. Like, you're not going to use a beeper. 99%, I've never used a beeper. 99% of people will never have to use a beeper now. There's some things that just aren't used nowadays. They're outdated. Like, as an example, that's like somebody judging you now for not being able to use a loom. How many people know how to use a loom anymore? It's just not something that's really used. Like, it's using modern technology versus older technology. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that, I mean, not every, I'm just using generalizations, but it's like somebody going, like when people were first trying to sell the idea of cars back in the early 1900s, we were like, why do we need that? We got horses. Why does it matter? You tell somebody now, that cars weren't a thing, and that people laughed at the idea until they could prove themselves, and then it rapidly became accepted. Like, there are still people who are like, back in my day, we just got drawn by a carriage. We didn't need cars. Only people I knew who used beepers were doctors and dealers. Looms are super cool, but I don't know how to use one. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just different technology for different times. Wait, you don't use a loom for making your clothes? What a loom? Yeah, exactly. Things change. So, like, people are like, oh, no one knows how to use a map anymore. I mean, most people who don't ever have to use a map, like, when are they gonna ever need to use a map? Most of the people who never learn how to use a map are not going to be out in the woods. Like, they're not going to have to learn how to use it. So, like, I don't know. It's just judging people based on something that you're used to that isn't used anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's just the young person in me trying to defend other young people. But, you know. But then, at the same time, they can turn around. Yes, maps are more timeless, but, like, Google Maps is more accurate. Like, even a newer map isn't going to have maybe new roads or new construction or this, that, and the other thing. Like, those things get outdated too. And it's not going to tell you about traffic. You're going to be stuck on, out here, you're going to be stuck on I-4 going to Orlando for an hour and a half extra, or you could have taken a shortcut right off the side because you knew there was an accident coming. Boom. I just saved a bunch of time. There's little things. Homespun clothing is like the final Exodia piece. If I've got everything else stored out, then yeah, and it's I don't know. Most people just aren't going to ever need to use those older technologies. We just don't anymore. Like, it's also like, I know people who are like super into computers and know everything about anything having to do with computers. What hard drives to use, how much RAM, blah, 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 whether it's a gaming but all this stuff. I'm never going to learn all that stuff. I don't care to. It doesn't really affect me too much. I mean, it could. I could do things better. But, like, I like the speed checks in particular. Oh, God. Yeah, it does tell you when there's cops up ahead. But, I'm not going to need to know how to build a computer. I can hire someone to do it for me. Is that going to change my quality of life because I don't know how to build a computer? No. There's plenty of older people who know how to build computers. But I'm saying a lot of the younger people get into these IT fields. Like, I don't know how to do half of that stuff. Are they going to make fun of me for not being able to do it? I mean, maybe, but I don't use a computer as much as they do. I use my phone most of the time. I still have GPS on my windshield redundancy. There's nothing wrong with that. Definitely having a redundancy is a good thing in a lot of circumstances. I'll agree with you there. I just also am not going to pay another per month fee towards maintaining and making sure that my GPS system is working, in my car. But yeah, exactly. You can just pay for something made over. I don't have to learn how to do it. But also, it's relatively easy to get between point A and point B in places. Lightning storm off. Yes, there's a lightning storm off in the distance. I don't know how far it is. There's no monthly fee? Oh, I thought there was a monthly thing you had to pay for those. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It could be on the East Coast for all I know, that storm that's up ahead. But there is some rain somewhere across the state. I don't know. It seems like there's always a monthly fee for something, and usually, like, to keep up on, like, updates and all that. A lot of those systems that I've run into, like, require some sort of monthly fee, but maybe not, unless you are getting live services. Yeah, maybe. But if you want to update it, I'm sure you have to pay for it. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it seems like everything requires a monthly fee now. So I don't know. You buy the unit and you're good. Huh. Yeah, there's a big old lightning storm up ahead. I don't know how far ahead, but it looks like it's relatively close because I can see the bolts going through the clouds. That's pretty cool. Let's see. And you guys can see that. the next time it comes, if it'll light up your screen too. Also, if you guys didn't know this, heat lightning is not a thing. Heat lightning is not a real thing. All heat lightning is lightning from a storm very far away, so you can't really see the outline, so it just looks like the sky's lighting up. It's just regular lightning. Because they aren't on the 2006 mindset. Oh, gotcha. Same as free. Yeah, heat lightning is not a real thing. So, like when I was growing up, my parents were like, oh, that's heat lightning over there. Nope, it's not heat lightning. It's just a storm off in the distance, so you can't see the individual bolts at night, and it just looks like the sky's lighting up. That's all it is. No such thing as heat lightning. And that's something I learned very recently as well from a meteorologist that I trust. Yep, there's a lot of little things like that. I used to think it was real for the longest time. But yeah, no, it's just a storm really far away. And nightly thunderstorms are a thing here. And, during the summer. So you see a lot of lights out in the distance, and it's just regular lightning. And I'm waiting for another snake. We had that big crossing, and that's about it. Heat lightning these nuts. Nice. Come on, no snakes? What in the world is going on here? If it's hot and there's lightning there, is lightning in the heat. So, yeah. Yeah, I guess so, if you want to play that game. All lightning is heat lightning. Because it's really hot. All lightning is hot. That is a picture of a thylacine. Very bad taxidermy thylacine. That's what that was. I'm glad at least Green Ranger uses it. I put time and effort into screenshotting that and cropping it to the right size. That is some hot-ass lightning. You got that right. Where are the snakes? Is there nothing going on with the snakes today? You're not used to seeing any snakes because you're abusing your boomer elders. Oh, is that how it goes? That's what my grandparents would say. Except they would say that I'm going to hell because I don't listen to them. That's what they would tell me. There's a reason I haven't talked to them for a few years. What if there's another guy doing this exact same thing on the same exact road? You guys keep driving past each other, hence no snakes. It's possible. It's happened. But you probably would see snakes still. I wonder if Forrest G was devastated about the thylacine scam. I mean, he did come out with a video addressing it. I'm sure he was upset about it, but it's I don't know. That's a good question. You gotta quit. Can't run. Or you're gonna have to. God. Listen. The stuff on my computer wasn't mine. I didn't search that. It was a virus. I just clicked on it on accident. Okay? I don't know how many times I have to tell you. It was a virus. And as I stood up, my pants got caught on my chair. That's why my pants were down. Okay? It was a virus. And I tried to get out of it. It attacked me. I was not a willing participant. Oh, man. Yeah, that lightning storm out in the distance is pretty. If only it brought out the snakes, which it doesn't really seem. I haven't even seen anything unalived on the road out here. so far. It's like we're all going to come out at once right before the sun goes down, and no sooner. That guy just turned on his brights. Okay, yeah, he did, because he just turned them off. The sunsets during these streams are always awesome. Yeah, they're nice. Now, you used to be able to get all the way down to that end of that road that I was on, and if you can do that, you can be right on the water. And the sunsets out there, like the Gulf, are just gorgeous. But A, I wouldn't have service down there. B, that area is all closed down at the very end after the hurricane last year came through. They still haven't opened it back up yet. At least since the last time I went down that far. You slaughtered a moth. Yeah, I've killed a few of them, unfortunately. Or she just sit back in his lavish house. He's not worried about his reputation at this point. The thylacine may perhaps be Joseph Kony in 2024. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Thanks for the brights, douchebag. Jeez. Those big trucks, they're just like, you know what? Screw all you guys. Shuck my balls. That's what they tell me. Except the balls are the lights. They're just like, suck on my headlights. Just like that. Yeah, I mean, Forrest definitely has it made in his very nice house in California. You know, he doesn't have anything to worry about. No, I doubt that guy's looking for snakes. He's probably looking to run over snakes. I mean, if the guy telling you that the info is wearing a mask and being whacked the whole time, do you even need to come out and say something? Wait. Telling you the info is wearing a mask and being whacked the whole time, do you even need to come out and say something? Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is very true. I mean, look at this. Oh, is he the guy who... Joseph Kony, 2024. I've heard that before. I don't remember what that's from, but I've heard that before. Oh, wait, is the Kony guy the guy who, like, was, like, dealing with, like, an African coup or something like that? And he was, he ended up going, like, crazy and, like, dancing naked in the streets or something like that? Gotcha. I remember that. I watched a video on it once. I knew that name sounded familiar. It was like a really big thing. It was like Kony 2012 or something like that. And like he was saying something about like the dictator or something like that was training child soldiers, but then there was like either no proof or the guy was dead. I don't know. I don't remember the exact details of the situation, but it was all messed up. Oh, it was a scam. Gotcha. I knew it had something to do with that. And like it was just like an uber viral thing. I watch a lot of videos on stuff like that, like part of my YouTube watch. Now that I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah, the video that I watched was by Dontavius. The guy goes by Dontavius on YouTube, and it was Kony 2012, I think it was. And he had like he went into a deep dive on what happened in that situation. Two situations are very similar in terms of circumstances and concepts. Gotcha. Oh, with the thylacine scam thing. Well, I don't think Forrest actually knew that it was a scam. I just think he willingly divulged in it because he wanted it to be true. And then people got upset, obviously, that he didn't come out sooner, because oftentimes he has a tendency to not say anything about the things he was either wrong about or controversies that he's enthralled in. A lot of people assumed that he was doing the same thing with this, but then because he came out with multiple videos after that happened, one of them being the stellar sea cow thing, and people were like, bro, you're trying to convince people that the stellar sea cow might still be alive and not addressing the obvious fake that everyone knows is the fake now. But at least he addressed it, and he addressed the other people that were involved in it, specifically the gaming beaver. And you know, the funny thing about the gaming beaver situation too is that like he addressed it and was like, oh, he even made a funny joke about how, you know, now his wife doesn't have to hear about it all the time or whatever. And then like, oh, well, he also heard how much he was made fun of and ridiculed by him. Like, a guy went all into making fun of him, like, you know, the full normal YouTube route with all the funny noises and all that and edits and all that. It's just funny to know that Forrest watched that video, because he definitely went into him a few times about how dumb the situation was. But it's I mean, at least he came out and said something. Again, that whole thing wasn't even that big of a deal to me. Did he not claim he saw it with his own eyes? No. What he no, that was a different part. So here's the thing. The video I made like talking about it, and people for some reason like it fell into the exact thing that I was saying that people were falling into. I was like, in this situation, Forrest was overly excited for this to be true, and he peddled something instead of really doing more research and saying it might be real and making it this big expose or a big thing, like, hey, here's all this proof, like, this is so cool. I can understand that. The thing that I don't understand, I'm going to turn around here. The thing that I don't understand, I'm going to wait for this car to pass first, is that people are like, oh, he's doing this on purpose. He's just trying to get fame, blah, 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 which I can get why people were upset about that whole thing. I really can understand it. But he fell into a trap as well. He was punked. He was duped. And he was embarrassed by it. The other thing that he did when it involved the thylacine with the jawbone was way worse. I'm not defending Forrest. He should have had more scrutiny towards this thing. This car is coming. Once this car passes, I'll start driving. He should have had more scrutiny in this situation, for sure, 100%. But he got duped, just like everybody else did. And anyone who claimed that they weren't duped at least a little bit at first is speaking in bad faith, I believe. But the other thing he did, where he said that he had somebody go out and take pictures of a charred jawbone, and he can't show the picture of the jawbone, and then asks for money because he needs $5 million to go out on a trip to Papua New Guinea. That is way worse than what just happened with those pictures that were fake. Way worse. Because Forrest brought up that information. Forrest made those claims. Forrest didn't provide the evidence. This other guy, he comes out and he's like, hey, I got these pictures. I found this. Take a look at this. Forrest is like, I don't know. It seems kind of fishy. I really hope this is real, but I can't verify 100%. A lot of these look really good. Most people thought it was really good. A lot of people believed it at first until they started hearing the guy talk. Then you start questioning things. But that's my whole point, is that I was like, the thing that Forrest did, the second time, he didn't really do anything wrong necessarily. It was the first thing that he did wrong. And that's what people should criticize him over. People were like, how could you defend Forrest at all? He's a grifter, he's a scammer. And it's like, I'm not saying that he did everything right, because he didn't. Obviously he didn't. What I'm criticizing or saying that people should be more pissed off about is this other thing that he obviously did that was a scam. That's what you should be criticizing. And, you know, people just automatically assume I'm taking Forrest's side. And it's just, you know, it's just the way the internet works, though, unfortunately. I know that was a ramble, but... And I cannot tell. Wait, reason you can't see a thylacine is the earth is flat. Exactly. I'm trying to tell people that. They all walked over the edge. They're on the other side of the ice wall. They're underneath us right now. Animal like that isn't hanging around for pictures. Probably not, if it's still around. Yeah, you know, that's the thing. Is like, I'm not making any bold statements on whether or not he's clear, because we all got duped, and he wants them to be real. But the other thing, he actually made a concerted effort to make a claim and not back it up. That's a bigger issue. But the pictures got more, notoriety. So you might think he has changed since he started. Yeah, and the reason I also mentioned this during the stream, the reason that I think he's changed and he's going down the path that we cannot follow, as Padme would have said, is because he was on Animal Planet, he had his show, he had his notoriety, he had the credibility, and now the only thing that people really know him for, which is finding Lazarus species that are thought to be extinct. Well, I mean, sure, he's got his Shark Week, spots. He does Shark Week every single year, but no one really cares about that. People want to see Forrest find the next thing that wasn't alive, the extinct animal. That's what they want him to find. And he's got to hype it up, because now he has to fund himself, because Animal Planet isn't funding him anymore. So he's got to put out all these things and draw a crowd to be like, oh, the stellar sea cow might still be alive, and there's something that looks like a rock out in the distance in this picture that could be real. He's doing whatever to stay current and play his lifestyle that he had before. Yeah, exactly. And his thing is extinct animals, finding them, and that is a very small area that you can really work with. Do other stuff. You have the capability to do other stuff, and he does, but he doesn't get the notoriety, just like Coyote Peterson. Coyote Peterson only really gets views when he's being bit or stung by something. He doesn't get the views when he's just talking about an animal. So he has to take it to the next step. And the next step in certain circumstances is pretending to find a Bigfoot skull, or getting stung by the most venomous plant in South America, like The Curse of Oak Island and all them shows. It's a theater of mind. Exactly. They're always one step closer, and if we just get a little bit more money, we can go to fund this trip to Papua New Guinea, because I have some evidence that I can't show you guys that the thylacine might still be there, because a guy who had a striped dog got eaten by the other dogs. But the guy who says he had a thylacine, well, you said earlier in the video it was a striped dog, not that the guy said he had a thylacine. So which is it? No, it's just one of those after the other. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it works, and you got to deal with it. And I don't know, guys, this seems like the snakes pretty much were like, we got a few minutes where we're going to be out, and then after that, we're going in, because I don't see anything, not even anything crossing. And the roads, it wasn't hot enough to, I don't know what it is. I think that their happy time was right as the sun was setting, because I haven't even seen any evidence of snakes on the road since the last snake we found, not even an unalived one. The snake window opened and shut quickly at night. It did, because I haven't seen a single one. Nothing. Which is very unfortunate, but that seems to be the way it is. I don't think it got hot enough for the roads to really warm up today. I don't even think it got to 90 degrees. I like it when the roads at least hit 90 degrees, because it stays warm enough longer. But because it was cooler, I think that's why the snakes moved so early. As I said, that window that everything was perfect was earlier in the night as compared to now, which, if it hit 90 plus degrees today, we'd probably be finding snakes right now, but they're really weird when it comes to their temperatures. I think this, I don't see anything going on right now, which is unfortunate. A lot of frogs, but frogs will be out when it's cool, so that doesn't really faze me too much. There's a car coming up behind me, but I don't really have anywhere to pull off, so hopefully this person just goes around me. Elder abuse, fat shaming snakes, karma, no snakes, and getting kicked by possums. I'd like to see a possum. Watch this guy just not want to go around me. He's already too close for me to just pull off to the side. This guy's gonna get right up on my tail and knock it. Like, he's barely I'm going 40 right now, which is way under the speed limit. And this guy's like slowing down to stay right behind me. Can you go around me, dude? Okay, good. He's going around me. There we go. Thank you, sir. Pygmy, rattlesnake, cottonmouth. Did I miss anything? I did touch a ribbon snake, and then there was a gray rat snake. So 4 snakes tonight. But hey, Pygmy rattlesnake, you got a point there. Did get one of them. At least I was on stream. I know it was a bit, of course it was fuzzy. Of course it was laggy. But I got a video on Snapchat, so I saved that. So hopefully I can put it in the Discord. If you're not a part of the Discord yet, link is in the description below. So I'll have a clearer video of that Pygmy from earlier. But yeah, I think that window definitely did close. When this car passes me right up here, I'm going to turn around and hopefully see something on the way out. If not, might be winding down for the night. My head is starting to get all stuffed up. I'm going to go home and chug some NyQuil, because we don't do serving sizes here. I just take a swig out of the bottle. That's the only way to take NyQuil. Otherwise, there's just no... They don't have a good... They don't tell you good serving sizes, unfortunately. Alright. Go home and relax. I'll try. Cowboy NyQuil shots? Yeah, I mean, that's basically all you can really do. Glug, 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 glug. Not that much. I'm not looking to get stoned off of NyQuil. Just one little mouthful. I mean, it's not like it does too much for me, honestly. But if it helps a little bit, it'll help. Did take some like Mucinex stuff earlier, and I don't know. I'm just surprised my throat isn't all on fire for talking this whole time, because it's not. But great, I'll be on the NyQuil and squeaking through the neighborhood again. Oh my god, whatever. NyQuil gives insane nightmares. I stick to. I don't really get nightmares. Throwing a Benadryl for a good time. Yeah, I don't really get nightmares, and if I do have dreams, I usually lucid dream. So like, if it goes on long enough and I can remember the dream, I can control it to an extent. But like, as soon as I start actually controlling it, I only get a few seconds, and then I wake myself up. So yeah, lucid dreams are fun. I mean to an extent. I mean, they're usually nothing crazy. Knock back a handful of Benadryl and wash those bad boys down with some cool. I don't like that idea. You know, some people like to experience things. I'm not big on self-medication. Doesn't knock you out. You aren't taking enough. Yeah, I'm not big on self-medicating, to be honest with you. I prefer not to take any medications at all if I can help it. Yeah. Did you go from a baby shower yet? We didn't go. What's your favorite animal? Was that Teresa? We didn't end up going because, so turns out, we had to go to a doctor's appointment, and we thought that the baby was due on the 17th, and that's what we've been told the entire time. And then we go, and they're like, oh no, the baby's due on the 7th. We're like, what are you talking about? We've been told the 17th. They're like, we don't know why they've told you that, but we're basing it off of the first time you came here and like the initial measurements, and those are the most accurate. So your due date's the 7th, which would put our trip at the 36-week mark, which you're not allowed to fly after the 36-week mark, and they don't really like you traveling after that. So we didn't end up going. Her mom came down over the weekend though, and I had my son, so we spent some time doing that. And yeah, so we didn't end up going to Tennessee. Yeah, so it's been crazy. So now the baby's coming on the 7th, or at least that's the due date. So less than a month from now rather than just over a month from now. So it changes a little bit. And my favorite animal, I don't know what my favorite animal is, to be quite honest. I like a lot of them. I like indigo snakes and diamondback rattlesnakes, and I don't know. There's a few things I like. I don't necessarily know if I have a favorite. None really pop into mind that's like outstanding my favorite. Ball pythons are nice. Nothing wrong with a ball python. And I'll probably end up having to, depending on how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling better, I'll probably drive for Uber or something tomorrow for a bit. I also got some schoolwork I got to do. I'm in my 4th week of that class, so I only have one more week after this. My grandson's favorite snake's the Eastern Diamondback. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I love them. I just don't see them as much as I'd like to. I just got to go out during the day looking for them in the right places, because there's plenty of them around here. It's just getting out into the right places and the right habitat during the right time. And their numbers are diminishing down a little bit, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, they're beautiful. They're just an experience to be around. I love alligators. Alligators are really cool. They're one of my favorites for sure. Well, I appreciate that. I do. I'll probably end up taking you up on it sometime soon. I prefer caimans. Caimans are cool. I like gators because they're chill for the most part. Out of all the crocodilians, they're definitely the chillest of them all. I'm not I mean, don't get me wrong, they're intimidating. I'm not like gonna be stupid around an alligator, but like I'm not afraid to be near one. I know they're not just gonna straight up attack me for no reason. They're relatively easy to read. And they usually don't actively hunt people. Capybara of the crocodiles. Yeah. Capybara are cool. I haven't been around one in person, so it's hard for me to, really like something I haven't actually experienced. Because I might like something on paper, but in person, they might be the worst things around. They're just cute, so people care. People love cats. I hate cats. I can't stand them I don't hate them. That's not right. I don't like cats for the most part. Domestic house cats, I should say. But people think they're the cutest things around. I don't think they're cute at all. That's just me. Yes, Ants Canada is great. I did see that he added a baby caiman. I think that's a little ridiculous, but he does have a space to put them when they get bigger, like a adequate space. So I'm a little bit better with that. But in Colorado, had a pet caiman. He said it was one of the coolest pets he ever had. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're a little bit aggro, but they're pretty cool. Cats are demons, but they're yeah. I mean, again, they're really good at what they do. I just don't like domestic house cats. I mean, bobcats, mountain lions, jaguars, leopards, all the big cats, all the small cats are awesome. I just don't like domestic house cats. They're not cute to me. Cats aren't cute to me. They can be beautiful animals, intimidating, impressive, but not many things. I don't find many things really cute, if that makes sense. Like people would be like, "Oh, I made a video on the quokka today." Like, "Oh, the quokkas are so cute. They're the happiest little things. They're smiling all the time." I'm like, I mean, I guess. I mean, I can understand why people think they're cute. I don't think it's cute. I think cute is used a little too much. Gonna pretend I didn't hear that. What about the quokka? I've just declared war on stray cats around me, as you should. But I mean, it's the same. Like, people will be like, if not friend, why friend shaped? Like, what are you talking about? That is I can't stand that saying. It's just like when people say danger noodle. I can't stand the term danger noodle. It's annoying to me, but I'm not going to go off on people when they say it. Like, that's your opinion. But it's just like when somebody says those phrases, to me, it comes off the same way as somebody who, like, baby talks. Like, all me. Like, that's what it sounds like to me. Oh, if not friend, why friend shaped? Oh my god, me. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't mind a friendly house cat either. Like, I'm not going to be hateful towards a cat. But if I have a stray cat in my yard that's trying to eat the native birds, leave the strays alone. No, absolutely not. Stray cats are the most invasive species on the planet. They kill billions of birds alone in the US every single year. There needs to be something seriously done about stray cats. No, you will not convince me otherwise. I understand what danger noodle means. Yes, and they're talking about snakes. I just can't stand that phrase. I've never heard any of those terms, thank God. Well, you don't look at comment sections of anything looking at snakes, because danger noodle is going to be brought up 10 times in every comment section that has anything to do with snakes. How do you feel about danger noodle is how I feel about swamp puppy. I can understand that. I agree with you. That is cringe. I will give you that. Stray kill birds, snakes, and chickens. Yeah, stray cats are one of the most devastating things to the ecosystem ever, but people don't care because it's a cat. They're major issues and they need to be dealt with. That doesn't mean I'm not saying you have to go out and kill stray cats. That's not what I mean. I haven't ever killed a cat, and I don't plan to, but they need to be taken care of, whether that be them captured and relocated or whatever it is. Barn cats are good, but stray cats are invasive. No, barn cats themselves, we don't need barn cats anymore. No, it's not the 1800s. There are ways to take care of that stuff that don't require barn cats. It's not even like they do a good job of taking care of, mice and rats. They would much rather kill birds than anything. Barn snakes. Yeah, barn snakes would be a way better option. They're only killing what they need to kill. Could have the same argument about snakes. Well, snakes are native, okay? There are very few instances where there are non-native snakes. Very few. You got the issue with the snakes down in South Florida. That's, for the most part, it. You have the brown tree snakes in Guam. Like, there are issues. But you know what you would do with those snakes? If they were invasive? You would destroy them. That's what they do. There's literally, in a few months, there's going to be a festival where they go and round up as many Burmese pythons as possible, and they will kill them. No one has a problem with that. But you did the same thing with cats like they do in Australia, there would be riots in the streets. It's not the same, because people care about cats more than they care about snakes. So that's the thing. Native snakes do way more beneficial things than non-native cats do. But that's the thing. Like, it just depends on what the animal. Snakes go after young chickens and eggs. I mean, they can, yeah, but you leave your native snakes alone and they'll equalize themselves out. But people kill all the snakes and would rather have a cat, which kills everything. It's just an unfortunate situation. So the cats, yeah, I mean, it's just, you're never going to win, but cats are a problem. Snakes aren't. Except for, like, certain circumstances, like the Burmese python. Spay and neuter programs don't help. That's the problem, is that they don't. Okay, what if I made that same argument for Burmese pythons? What if we captured the snakes spayed them and neutered them or whatever it was, and released them back into the wild so they can continue to eat the native animals. Would that be acceptable? Those cats are still going to go out there and eat all the native animals. And the problem isn't going away. Spay and neuter programs do not work. My son's cats have never gone after his chickens, but he also feeds them. Yeah, and it doesn't work. They need to be taken out of the environment, not spayed and neutered and released. Spay and neuter programs do not work. They don't. But again, it's another thing where people have their mind made up and they're not going to do anything to fix it because they are comfortable with the situation. These same people will be the ones freaking out that there's Burmese pythons or whatever other invasive reptile is out there. But as soon as there's a cat, God forbid that we have cats. Hey, you know what? There's invasive cats all around the state of Florida. Well, we're not going to ban those, but we're going to ban a reptile that's never even had an established population because we don't want it to take over. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, all right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Seriously, I really do appreciate it. I'm glad to have the conversation. It's been fun. I'm going to get going, have a nice little drive home, and I'm going to go hit the hay. If all cats around us have been spayed and neutered, the males will spray everywhere. You know? But if you haven't joined the Discord yet, make sure to check that. The link is in the description below. Love to see you there. Otherwise, I will see you on the next live I do. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Peace.